Welcome back, rankers. Taking questions again from the Twitterverse, and also follow up to last week's show about the workshop that we're going to be doing in order to raise money for the bushfire appeal. In case you missed it, we've had some pretty horrible experiences with bushfires in Victoria over the last 10 days. And we will be running a workshop on the 12th of March in Melbourne. Now, originally we were going to do it at our offices here in Carrum Downs, but the numbers are starting to get big, and City of Melbourne are also, who's one of our clients, have also said that they're offering venues to people who are running fundraisers for the bushfire appeals. They're organising venues free of charge, and I believe catering as well. Sorry if I've dropped you in there, Michael, if it's not catering, but I'm pretty sure it was. So if you are looking to do something for the bushfire victims, then the City of Melbourne certainly will help you with a venue. But the workshop will therefore be now in the Melbourne CBD. It's going to allow more people to get to it. But I've had a lot of questions on what will the workshop cover. So let's just quickly go over that. Look, this is the very similar workshop to the one that I ran for the Melbourne Joomla Day conference Saturday week ago. And hello to everybody from Joomla. Had a wonderful time, and there's some, if you're looking for a content management system, you really can't go past Joomla. It's open source, lots of support around for it, easy to use, and it's probably the fastest growing open source content management system out there as far as people using it goes. All right, so what are we going to cover at the workshop? Well, we're going to look at things like, internet marketing versus traditional marketing. Why you should look at one over another. We're going to look at where the most valuable online real estate is these days. We're going to be looking at why some websites are not getting indexed by Google, because one of the main things that we find with all our clients is that if they're not ranking, a lot of the time it can be simply because Google can't get in to see their content. For some reason they're blocked, they've got search facility on the site that's confusing the Google bot or whatever. So it can be a number of things why Google's not indexing your site. We're going to look at some cross-comparison marketing. We're going to have a look at what you're currently paying for ClickSafe, for Yellow Pages advertising and those sorts of things. But more importantly, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what it actually takes to rank a site, rank a page. And we've got a pretty standard process that we go through here at Stuart Media to get any of our client sites ranked. And that's what we're going to share with you. Now, we know that there's probably 100 different ways that you can get a page ranked, considering that Google has about 200 variables in its algorithm. But the way that we use, we know it works, we know that Google likes it, and we know that we're not using any trickery or chicanery. Okay, so stay tuned to the show and the newsletter, and I'll forward out the details of the actual venue, probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We're just trying to finalise a couple of things there. But for those of you that have already booked, we have got your email, so thank you for that. And we will be in contact as soon as we have the final details to the show, to the workshop. But the main thing that we'll do in the workshop also is we'll actually build a page on the day that will rank, so that you can see what you should be doing and the sorts of things you should be using. And of course, we'll go through all the tools that we use on our current client sites. And look, that toolbox is constantly changing. But certainly the ones that we're currently using are just fantastic. And look, none of these things are going to get you ranked #1 by themselves. Basically, what all the tools that we use are really a way to confirm things like keyword analysis, but also to make your job quicker and easier. That's, well, any good tool, I suppose, does that. So it's, you can have the best tools in the world, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you probably can't use them very well. Okay, back to the Twitterverse. Taking some questions this morning. First off, we've got Yvonne Adele, or Ideas Culture, I should say. Hey, matey, what's your take on hyphens in domain names? A no-no or a no big deal, SEO-wise? Look, hyphens are actually, I think, a bit of a godsend, and I'll show you what I mean. For a domain name, we always say to people, if you're building a new site from scratch, what is a good strategy is to actually go and register 2 domain names. Go and register a keyword-rich domain name, and then also go and register your own business name domain name. You put the business name domain name on your business card, but you redirect that to your keyword-rich domain name. And we see this happen a lot. And to give you an idea why I love hyphens, I'll show you. Okay, if you don't know what you're looking at here, then I suggest you buy a Mac. We're doing a who is. We're going to do a lookup on, say, a domain name. What's something popular at the moment? Government internet filter. No, that'll be too easy to register. What about Obama? Something to do with Obama. Okay, so let's just say who is Obama or Obama's dog. Let's see what we get. ObamasDog.com. Do you reckon that's gone? I reckon it might be. I haven't checked this, by the way. I'm just trying to work out, okay. I'm just trying to find a domain name that is gone so we can show you what we can then do with hyphens. Okay, well, so we can see there that domain name's gone, right? Okay, so let's go and have a look and see if the same domain name is available using hyphens. ObamasDog.com. Probably will be because it's a .com. And we're just waiting for who is. Yes, it has gone as well. So that same person, by the looks of it, has, I don't know, different people. But white people would register that domain name. But quite often, if there's a popular domain name, and we'll do the .au space, because I know Ideas Culture is probably talking about the .au space. So let's just say, I don't know, plumbing supplies. Or even plumbing supplies Melbourne as a domain name. Let's have a look. Who is plumbing supplies Melbourne? Melbourne.com.au. Okay, because I'm looking at the name. Who is no data found? Okay, well, who is plumbing supplies? .com.au. Okay, so plumbingsupplies.com.au has gone. All right, it's not telling us terribly much about who's using it, but if we then go, who is plumbing supplies? Oops, I left out my hyphen. That's what we're doing it for. Plumbingsupplies.com.au. No data found. So that same domain name, simply by putting a hyphen in the middle, is giving us a keyword-rich domain name. Google doesn't care about the hyphens in a domain name. You know, Google can split up a word. It can split up 3 words lumped together and say, did you mean boom, boom, boom? So Google is pretty clever in working those sorts of things out. Where the hyphens are good is because a lot of people that go out and register a generic domain name will not go out and register something with the hyphens in it as well, because I think it looks ugly and it's hard to tell people over the phone, and they're right. But what it is good for is for Google to pay attention to, and the other search engines, because you're telling the search engine something about your site simply with the domain name. And getting a hyphen in it just means usually they're more available than ones without a hyphen, and it still works. I wouldn't recommend putting something like that on a business card, and I certainly wouldn't recommend putting something like that in your branding. But you could get 2 domain names, the main domain name, your brand, whatever it is, redirect to this keyword-rich domain name, and you will find that you will have a head start. This isn't a trick to get you to number 1. It's, if you can get one and it is a new site, you may as well do it, okay? But don't think you're going to go number 1 simply by doing that, because you won't. And that's it for this week's show. Look, if you want to do the workshop, then simply send an email to workshop@stuartmedia.biz, or there's a link in the newsletter, and I'll put a link in YouTube as well if you're watching this via YouTube. If you're not watching this via YouTube, just head off to stuartmedia.biz/my blog, and there's a link in there. And thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.